Good morning, Rabotai. Beruchim Abayim to everybody. Thursday, the 11th day of Iyar, corresponding to May the 16th. Today is the Lighthouse Torah Project. לעילוי נשמת דבורה פייגל בת שמואל and רפואה שלמה of Ora Devora bat Rivka. For the iTorah.com dedication today, the רפואה שלמה, David Menachem ben Devora Leah, and Shidduch for Sarah Simcha bat Sophia, as well as Nehamadina bat Hanabatia. For the Edmond J. Safra Synagogue, special breakfast and class of today, graciously sponsored by our Mesader, Mr. Yada Kassab, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Avraham Nisim ben Faride, Alav Shalom. So while you enjoy the delicious breakfast of today, I'll say a few words of Torah, and Be'ezat Hashem will cover the special day of today, the 26th day of the counting of the Omer. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shehakol Nihiya Bidbaro. Thank you so much. Yes, La'ilui Nishmat, Avraham Nisim ben Farida. The signs should be around the table. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll eat after. So today we'll discuss the beautiful Sefirah of today, known as Hod Shevad Nesach. Hod, as we discussed in the early weeks of the Omer, represents the Midah of Aharon HaKohen, which in part represents to the concept of Hoda'ah. Hoda'ah means the concept of gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which, interesting enough, this topic will be discussed in this parasha when the Torah talks about Korban Todah, the Korban of gratitude to Hashem upon miracles, upon birth, upon traveling, etc., which today, in our days, it's known as Birkat HaGomel, the beracha that people say whenever a person travels or a specific situations comes around their life. The word Hod comes also from the Hebrew meaning or translation like beauty, beautiful, something special. So with this, I would like to begin with the Noam Elimelech, the famous Rabbeinu Elimelech Milizhensk, that we spoke about him in the past, especially around his yortzeit. And it says that a person must train themselves to recognize and to value the beauty that Borei Olam injected into the world. And not only on the fact that the world is a colorful place to live, but can you imagine if the world will be black and white only? Can you imagine if all the fruits and the vegetables will have the same shape and the same form and the same color? It will be very boring. Baruch Hashem, we have 7 colors of the rainbow. We have the 12 colors of the tribes of Israel. And Borei Olam gave the person to be able to see the beauty of the physical world through the aspect of colors. And it says, the Noam Elimelech, that whenever we see a season coming up, perhaps Miami may not be the best example because we always have like a tropical season all year long, with the exception of a few cold days, a few rainy days. But Baruch Hashem, for us to see green trees or palm trees and flowers and grass and landscaping is a great business in Miami. Maybe in New York, in the summer landscaping, in the winter snow removal, correct? But here with us, we don't have snow, and so we are able perhaps to see this constant flow of blessing. But for those listening or watching from up north that may be experiencing a very cold weather, also when the weather changes and you have a change of season, what do you see? That the tree that was naked or pale for 3-4 months, suddenly you come and you see the beautiful greenery that Hashem brought into the world. Rabbeinu Elimelech Melizhensk explains that a Yehudi, when you walk on the street, you need to look at the world, as we say in our daily prayers. Amehadesh betuvo bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Amehadesh betuvo in English means that Hashem in His goodness renews the world on a regular basis. You know, to many of us, between yesterday and today, there was not much difference. Maybe today it rained, and yesterday it did rain at night and not in the daytime. But according to the pasuk that I just quoted, which actually comes from our daily prayers, it means Amehadesh betuvo, that Hashem in His infinite goodness, Mehadesh means what? Renews. Ma'aseh bereshit. Day after day, Hashem decides, yes world, no world, yes rain, no rain. And this is the beautiful Sefirah that of today, number 26 of the Omer, brings upon us. Since I have to catch a flight in a few minutes, I'm going to keep the class of today short and sweet. And Be'ezat Hashem, Rabbi Azankot will continue effective tomorrow. So let's do quickly the 3 daily exercises for the Omer day number 26. No one can deny, I believe, that we are living in challenging times. We are. Whatever situation, Israel, America, terrorism, Iran, Russia, Syria, China, dollar, euros, tariffs, NAFTA, if they exist, etc. I think it's Rashi Tevot, North American Fair Trade Agreement, right? Beautiful. Jaconella, I know, I'm familiar with the law. Anyways, so we see a lot of action in the world. And we understand from an emunah perspective that Borei Olam is giving the final brushes to the beautiful picture of Mashiach's arrival. But no one can deny that we also are experiencing challenges. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. And today terrorism doesn't need to be fought in a physical way. Today you can destabilize a country, a city, a government through social media, through hacking, through cyber terrorism, the way it looks. I'm not involved in that field, just for the record, but I'm a human being, so I know things a bit. But on the other hand, let's look on the positive side of life. Without a doubt, this is, I believe, a most bountiful galut, exile, that Baruch Hashem, despite all the surrounding situations that we find ourselves in, we still have the freedom and the opportunity and the choices of how to become connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There were times in history that burning Torah books was a national day of celebration. Baruch Hashem, today, we don't have these things. That there is anti-Semitism, that's a different shi'ur. That synagogues are able to be open, that yeshivot are able to function, that kolelim exist, mikvaot exist. Yes, there are some European countries today that they have certain rules that they are passing. I know that the chief rabbi of Israel, Hacham Yitzhak Yosef Shelita, was in Belgium, or is in Belgium now, or this week, and one of the things that he requested from the government was to allow to have shechita done in that country. Because unfortunately in that country today, kosher slaughtering is forbidden by the law. There is another country that wants to ban Berit Milah. I think Sweden, right? So there are certain places in the world that there are laws that are being enacted against the spiritual needs of the Jewish people. But on the other hand, throughout the world, Torah is flourishing. Let's take, for example, certain countries, especially in South America, that go through crises. Venezuela, for example. I know, I woke you up. I know. We have plenty of Yehudim visiting us from Venezuela. Many Yehudim that are here since Pesach, unable to return back home due to the lack of flights, or maybe due to the lack of light. Now I know that American Airlines yesterday stopped. Airspace. Okay, airspace was closed. Okay, as of now, yes. So bottom line, Rabotai, we understand that 2 hours away from here, when once was a Gan Eden, and I see many of you are from there, now people are surviving, are trying to survive. But guess what? Despite all these challenges that in the mind of many of us, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean you have no light? What do you mean there is no flight? What do you mean that leaving your home is dangerous? What do you mean there is no food? Guess what? God forbid, human aspects can bring down a country. So therefore, the message of today is that a person should look at the back. At the back means look at the previous generations. In Argentina, for example, the only national products that were limited to matzah, wine, coffee, sugar, oil, rice, and I don't think that spices, and I don't think we even have that. Who heard of cookies for Pesach? We never heard of cookies of Pesach until the import business started. And I'm sure some other countries of the world was the same. Today, you go to a Pesach supermarket to buy food, you forget that it's even Pesach. You find spaghetti, you find rolls, you find bread, kasher Pesach. I mean, I'm not happy. Personally, I'm not happy with that. If you're asking me, I understand almond flour, potato starch, chocolate kasher Pesach, but to make bread kasher Pesach and looks like a hamburger roll, for me personally, it sends the wrong message of what Pesach is all about. Even though may be done with a kosher formula kasher Pesach, with a potato starch. It rises. And if we remember the spiritual message of Pesach, is not about the negative food of Pesach, but we're talking about the possibilities that we have to didn't have. Today, any place you go, you find a synagogue. You're going to find somewhere in whatever place it may be. Or you're going to go, you're going to find a mikveh. Today there are, Baruch Hashem, thousands of mikvaot that they were built worldwide in the past few years. And therefore today's message number one of the Sefirah is Hod, Hoda'ah, gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Gratitude that we are living in a generation that Baruch Hashem, we are able to cater to our spiritual needs that we have, whatever level a person needs. If it's basic, if it's traditional, if it's middle of the road, if it's on an extreme, whatever, and Haz v'Shalom, I don't mean to use the word extreme in a negative connotation, but I'm saying even somebody that is looking to do everything 1,000%, Torah mindset, yeshiva, etc., Baruch Hashem, the opportunities are, and therefore today message number one is count the blessing that we have, especially in this part of the world that almost everything is available for us. But that comes with a catch-22, that the person should not get too comfortable in Lut. Meaning to say, remembering that we're here and we are in a beautiful city, in a country that we do have the opportunity and the freedom, so to speak, to express our religion without being afraid, the way may have been going back 70, 80 years ago, Russia. Remember those days? Anybody caught praying or in a Torah class or doing a Berit Milah, one-way ticket to Siberia. One-way ticket to Siberia because you committed a crime. A crime. You circumcised a child. What was it? In Russia, going back 80 or 70 years ago, would have been forbidden, would have been dangerous, physically dangerous. So when you look at history, and then you see, wow, you know, it's like, you know, somebody said the other day, our luxuries becomes our children's necessity. You understand? Who heard of restaurants open for Pesach? Today, is the Black Friday, the week of Pesach. And usually in the past, people were more careful not to eat out of the home during Pesach, which many of us still observe. It's nothing wrong as long as it has a proper hashgacha. But what the message of today of the Omer is recognize the blessing that we have. Count the blessing that we have. Message number 2. Ben Adam lahavero. Hoda'ah. Hoda'ah means recognition. Hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lehodot. That's part of our daily prayers. There are people who gratitude, perhaps it's behind me, I don't know. I'm not sure if the advertisement is still there. His sponsorship is expiring. Yes, just remind them, okay? A friendly reminder. No, I was asked to remind them. Beseder Gamor. So Be'ezat Hashem, take the prayer in any language. What do you say in that prayer? Thank you, Hashem. So now it says, like you thank Hashem, thank a human being. Take a human being and express your gratitude. Your concierge in the front desk, the mailman, the rabbi. This is besides your spouse and your parents, which I'm sure you do on a regular basis. But it says, go the extra step to remember the kindness that someone did to us, which is in a nutshell, the blessing of Hagomel. Hagomel hayavim tovot shegemalani kol tuv. This blessing that we say whenever we travel, what is the meaning of this blessing? We are saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank you Hashem for giving me a good trip. Thank you Hashem for coming out of the hospital alive and well. Thank you Hashem for transferring me overseas. Why? Because we understand that out of the Hesed of Borei Olam, this miracle happens to the life of the person. Ben Adam le'atzmo. 2 days ago, I believe, we discussed the importance of a person recognizing their shortcomings. That's number one. That's part of Teshuvah. But forget about Teshuvah for a moment. Teshuvah is a very important topic, but this is not the topic of today. But let's say that a person went through life or is going through life, and I'm telling you what I said to somebody yesterday in the supermarket. I happened to be in the supermarket. I came across someone that is going through unfortunate challenges at home. And, you know, we talk. I'm available, usually. Baruch Hashem. So I said to this person, you want to see a change in your marriage? you need to stop blaming the other party. Because if the only thing you do is blaming, it's her fault, it's her fault, it's her fault, so you are a tzaddik? I ask him, are you a tzaddik? Are you a righteous person that you do everything perfect? There is a pasuk that says, En tzaddik ba'ares asher ya'aseh tov ve'lo yeheta. Shlomo Melech says in his great wisdom, you know, can somebody afford to say, I'm holy? Yeah, you may be holy. You have a lot of holes, to here, one here, to here, to here. That's a different show. Okay? Yes, you're holy. Nekavim, nekavim. That's why we say in the Birkot Hashem, in the Asher Yatzar, nekavim, nekavim. You have plenty of holes in our body. But what I'm referring is you need to recognize to move in order to move on. And that's part of the message that a person needs to be honest with themselves, to recognize. And we go back. Although hod may mean beauty in a physical way, hoda'ah means gratitude, but hoda'ah means to recognize. And I finish with the following statement. We remember, before I go to the next topic, I know the clock is looking at me. You think so? I would love to, but I have a whole kahal waiting, so don't be jealous. I'm going as a guest only. Okay, faddal. Anyways, you know, hoda'ah means to recognize. The pasuk says, mechase pesha'av lo yasliach umode ve'ozev yeruham. This is pasuk that is very popular and famous during the Selihot. The pasuk means, mechase pesha'av, a person who wants to hide their shortcomings. Yani the person says, there are people that are worse than me, I'm not so bad, I do good, I do, ta. Lo yasliach, you will not be successful in doing teshubah. Umodeh ve'ozev. But if you recognize, you means me, you, anybody. Umodeh, a person says, you know what? I need to change. You know what? I need to exercise self-control. I need to give a better example, which is this week's Torah portion message. The pasuk says, Emor. Emor ve'amarta. Emor ve'amarta are ways of talking. And in the Torah, there is a difference. Emor and by the ber. Emor means in a softer way. By the ber is more in a strong fashion. But Rashi says, Leazhir gedolim ala ketanim. The pasuk teaches us, Rashi says, according to Gemara, the importance of setting a good example on the children. But interesting, Rashi didn't say, Lehannech et hayeladim, to educate the children. Rashi says, Leazhir gedolim ala ketanim. You know what the message the Torah is giving us? That we are an example to our children. You want your child not to scream? Not a problem. Don't scream. You want your child to be respectful, to be proper, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be patient, to be tolerant. Guess what? We need to be that way. As the pasuk writes, right, teaching by example. As the pasuk tells us, the story of Shimshon and Manoah, that the Malach says to Manoah, whatever I said to do, you need to do. What's the meaning you need to do? You need to set the example for your son. And that's why, if you look in the book of Shemuel, when the Navi comes, Shemuel comes to Shaul HaMelech and talks about what happened with Amalek, Shaul tried to justify a lot of the things that happened. When Natan HaNavi, I believe, comes to David HaMelech to tell them what happened, the story of Bathsheba, what does David says? Hatati. Immediately, no excuses. He recognized, and that's what the pasuk says, Umodeh be'ozev yeruham. A person who has hoda'ah, a person who recognizes the need to change, the need to do teshubah. Borei Olam says, great. You started, you recognize, I'll cover you. That is a great zechut to earn spiritual protection. So when God forbid there are kitrugim against the person, there are spiritual accusations against the person's recognition and need to change bring protection to the person. A very brief message on Pesach Sheni that will be this coming Sunday. The mitzvah of Pesach Sheni is the mitzvah of Hashem giving the opportunity for those that are physically impure or far away from Yerushalayim to do the first Pesach. Borei Olam gives a second chance in this particular mitzvah. Our rabbis tell us that this mitzvah in particular, Pesach Sheni, it's the lesson that a person understands that Borei Olam always gives a second chance to the person. And the truth is that the second chance is not real. Hashem gives us 1,000,000 chances, 1,000,000,000 chances. Every day is another chance. But our rabbis tell us that this particular lesson is not only about Hashem giving us a second chance, but us to be able to reciprocate this extra opportunity that Borei Olam gives us to reciprocate it to other people. Sometimes when it comes to interaction with people and things don't end up good, some people put a mark on that person and they say, forget about it and never again I'll talk to this person. Haz v'shalom. This is not a Torah approach. Probably it's forbidden to do such a thing or to say such a thing in the Torah based on Havtal Re'acha Kamocha and Men Lo Tikom Ve'Lo Titor and many others prohibitions of the Torah. But the message is that a person should grab the opportunity. And guess what? Every Rosh Chodesh is an opportunity. Every week is an opportunity. Every Yom Tov is an opportunity. And every day is an added opportunity given to the person. For those watching or listening, Be'ezat Hashem, this Shabbat, I will be visiting Sha'arei Sion congregation. So we hope to see you in person in Brooklyn. My good friends, I'm leaving now. I'll finish the class today. Thank you. We'll resume the class upon my return. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen.